everyone, it's really good to have you here today because this is important. We just got major breaking news. President Trump has personally signed a significant executive order, and this time there's no automation involved. This one was signed directly, and it's already sending shockwaves. If you've been struggling to stretch every dollar, if you've been checking your account day after day, hoping for some kind of relief, I need you to pause for a moment. What I'm about to share could have a real impact on families over the coming months. We're talking about proposed $2,000 stimulus-style dividend payments that could reach millions of low- and middle-income Americans. And for the first time, there's a clearer window for when those funds might start landing. As we break this down, take a moment to subscribe and like so this update reaches others who may be depending on the same information. According to newly shared details, Treasury officials have now outlined when these payments could realistically begin. And honestly, it may be sooner than many people expected. Before we go any further, let me quickly say this. The reason this space exists is to help people who are trying to make it through rising costs, tight budgets, and constant uncertainty. Many know what it feels like to weigh essential bills against groceries or to lie awake wondering how the next month will work out. That's why this information matters, and that's why clarity is so important. So let's get into the updates everyone has been waiting for. The discussion around $2,000 dividend-style checks is back in the spotlight. Headlines are now circulating about a potential financial boost for millions of Americans who are feeling squeezed as new timing details begin to surface. This isn't just rumor anymore. President Trump has repeatedly referenced these payments in recent remarks, and now there's additional context to work with. During a cabinet meeting, the president spoke directly about distributing dividends to the public while also addressing national debt. He suggested that over the next several years, revenue numbers could continue to rise, even going so far as to say that income taxes might eventually become unnecessary if collections remain strong. These are sweeping statements, and they've understandably caught the attention of millions of people listening closely. Now, here's the part everyone needs to focus on. Treasury leadership has indicated that if this plan moves forward, payments could begin as early as next year, with a strong possibility during the first quarter. That places January, February, and March as the key months to watch. Those early months of the year are where momentum could build quickly if approvals fall into place. It's important to clarify something here. While some references have mentioned a range between $1,000 and $2,000, President Trump himself has consistently emphasized the $2,000 figure. That distinction matters. Expectations are being set around that number, and anything less would likely create confusion and backlash. Analysts have also noted the political timing, with major elections approaching, which adds pressure for clear follow-through. Many people have asked why these payments wouldn't arrive sooner, especially around the holidays. The reality is that proposals like this require congressional approval. The process involves review and votes in both chambers before anything can be finalized. That takes time, even when urgency is high. While it can be frustrating to watch large international funding packages move quickly, domestic relief often moves at a slower pace. Now let's talk about eligibility, because that's one of the biggest questions coming in. Based on prior proposals and current discussions, the focus remains on low and middle-income earners. Analysts are pointing to earlier rebate frameworks that used an income threshold of $100,000 or less. Under that structure, individuals and families earning below that level would qualify. This includes seniors receiving retirement benefits, individuals on SSI or SSDI, veterans receiving VA benefits, railroad retirement recipients, survivors and spouses receiving benefits, and working individuals earning under the income cap. Even households with very limited or zero income would fall under this threshold, meaning a wide range of people could be included. Another key detail is how the payments would be distributed. Based on statements so far, the proposal points toward payments being issued per eligible individual, including dependents, rather than per household. That means larger households could see a significantly higher total amount, which for many families could be life-changing. Naturally, the next question is where the funding would come from. The administration has pointed to tariff revenue as the source. Recent Treasury data shows that tariff collections have increased steadily over recent months, bringing in tens of billions of dollars monthly. Analysts estimate that funding these payments would require several months' worth of collections, which aligns with the proposed early year timeline. That said, it's important to be realistic. there are challenges ahead. Congressional approval remains the biggest hurdle. There's also ongoing debate about the long-term sustainability of tariff revenue, as well as political disagreements that could slow progress. And as always, whenever discussions like this gain traction, scams begin to appear. No legitimate agency will ever ask you to pay a fee or share personal information to receive benefits. It's also worth noting that the president has continued to use executive authority in other areas, signaling an active approach to policy changes while broader legislation is debated. This shows momentum, but it does not replace the need for congressional action on financial relief. So, what should you do right now? First, make sure your tax filings are current, even if your income is low. This helps ensure eligibility can be verified. Second, confirm that your direct deposit and mailing information are up to date with the appropriate agencies. Third, stay alert and informed, especially during the first few months of the year. And finally, protect yourself from misinformation and scams by relying only on official updates. Here's the takeaway. The promise has been made, the timeline is beginning to take shape, and the funding discussion is ongoing. Potential $2,000 payments for eligible individuals are being discussed, with the first quarter of the year as the window to watch. For families living paycheck to paycheck, for seniors on fixed incomes, and for veterans managing rising costs, this kind of relief could make a real difference. Times are difficult for many people right now, especially during the holidays. If you're feeling worn down, know that you're not alone. Millions are facing similar struggles, and staying informed is one way to stay prepared. This space will continue to track developments closely and share updates as they happen. When votes occur, when decisions are finalized, and when dates are announced, you'll hear about it here. If this update helped you better understand what's unfolding, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss what comes next. And I want to hear from you. Do you support these proposed $2,000 payments? Share your thoughts below. Your voice matters, and staying engaged does make a difference. If you have questions about eligibility, timing, or next steps, leave them in the comments. And remember, if you need help right now, there are existing programs available that can provide support while we wait to see how this unfolds. You deserve dignity, support, and clear information. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you again very soon.